Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Love Beneath podcast. I am your host, Mina Zia Sheikh Al Islami. Try saying that 3 times fast. And before I get into anything, if you're watching on YouTube, please like the video, subscribe. If you're listening, please follow the channel or follow the show. Follow the show, leave a review. That would mean so much to me either way. Please engage however you're listening, however you're arriving. So we're going to kind of piggyback off of yesterday's message. So yesterday was about karma, checking in with your desires and seeing if that is a true desire from the deepest place or if that is a desire you're using to cope with something going on in your life. So go back and check that out. I will have it right here. If you're on YouTube, there'll be a link right here. So you can check that out a little easier. Now, today, we are talking about the squeeze. That is what I call it. That is what I have called it in my coaching program for a long time. And if you're watching and you're in my coaching program, you're going to know it very well. Some people, we might not realize that the thing that we want to happen, the reason why it's not happening yet is because we're not big enough to receive it. Energetically, we have to expand in order to receive that thing. So a lot of times it is just a matter of being able to fully expand to the next level in order to actually have a big enough vessel to hold it. And so the squeeze happens when we are meant to practice patience, faith, and trust. So if you know yourself, if you know that you are not a patient person, if you know that that is definitely one of your karmic lessons in this lifetime, if you know that you chronically rush through things, you try to rush through a lesson or you complete something and then you're rushing into the next thing right away, and maybe you need to, I'm seeing the temperance card in my mind, you need to slow down and smell the roses, so to speak. If you know that that's who you are, chances are you're going to go through the squeeze. So the squeeze happens when you have someone who's impatient and they're this close. They're so close to getting the thing that they desire. It's just on the other side of, of whatever it is. So life will start to push that outcome away a little bit. We'll start to push it in the future a little more, a little more, a little more. And so what happens is you start to enter this sort of bottleneck part of life where so many things start getting taken away and you're in the between what you were and then becoming what you are. So a lot of times when you're in the transitionary period, don't forget, this is a period where you're expanding to the next level to be able to hold the thing that you're desiring. So you're in a point where you've left your old self behind, but you're not quite the new self yet. And so you're going through the transformation of letting go of certain people, letting go of certain situations, letting go of things that were not actually opportunities. And depending on how big your up level is or how big your shift is, the things that you're going to be losing are going to be pretty significant. Again, it just depends. So you could have lost an entire friend group. You could have lost a job. You could have, something pretty big, or you could be squeezed financially. You could be squeezed stress-wise. So it's a phenomenon where you're in the bottleneck period. So you're like literally trying to squeeze through it to think about like a ship in a bottle, like you have to put the sail down to get through that bottleneck and then it can expand when it actually gets into the bottle. So that is the process going on. But when you're in the squeeze, you don't realize that. You're not thinking to yourself, oh, no problem. I just have to get squeezed for a second and then I'm going to be on the other side of it. It feels so real. And once again, if patience is something that you're needing to work on, it is going to trigger everything in you. It will trigger your rejection wound, your abandonment wound, your not being enough wound, the worthiness wound. It will trigger everything to do with not receiving, with not being safe, with not being heard, not being received, all of that, anything to do with that, it will put that right in your face with seemingly nowhere else to turn. And it is brutal. And to be honest, if you're not working with, spiritual mentor, coach, therapist, someone, I don't even know how y'all are making it through that, because it's hard enough when you know what's happening, and to go through it and you don't know what's happening, that's a whole other level. Leave a comment if you are going through that now, or if you have and you know exactly what I'm talking about and you're like, wow, I didn't know that's what it was, but that's definitely what it was. So it just depends on what the karmic cycle is about. So if you're moving to the next level in your business, then the bottleneck period will be a period where actually money's not coming in, where nothing's happening, but you feel so different. You're like, I have become this thing. I've become this person. So I don't get why this is not happening. Like, that is the squeeze. It's like, I've done all these things. I've conquered all this stuff. I've become so different, yet I feel like I'm receiving less. I feel like I'm getting less. And that's because, once again, the cycle that you're entering, leaving and entering, is coupled with, hey, you need to have more surrender and you need to stop controlling. So and when I say we, I mean your higher self, your spirit team, all the energies, right, that kind of move around this ether, this space. They're like pushing it out of reach so that you can practice trust, so that you can practice faith, so that you can practice being good with what you've got and not needing any more than that. Now that might seem like, well, that's crap, because I actually do need more than this. Or like, I want more than this. And that brings up a fundamental part of this conversation, which is a lot of times we misunderstand the energetics side of this. We think that in order to get something to come closer to us, we have to control it. We have to pull it. We have to somehow grab hold of it and like yank it into our orbit. And nothing could be further from the truth. You can muscle your way through life, and there are a lot of, sorry, my cat's like freaking out. There are a lot of successful people that have like brutally thrusted themselves into life and are just like scraping at it and like pulling towards them. So it's not that can't work. However, if you're interested in this podcast, if you're interested in the work that I do, chances are you are what I would call a light leader or a beacon, someone who your spiritual lessons come first in this life. So, someone like, I don't know, I don't pretend to know anything about anybody, but the CEO of some like huge conglomerate or something, their spiritual lessons might not be like forefront in their lives. Obviously, they're serving a different purpose. But if you're watching this, it's probably true that your personal growth is number one in your life. If your spiritual lessons, if your personal development, your personal growth are central to your life, you have to learn certain things. And also, hand in hand with that, I feel called to say, it could very well be that this is your final lifetime as an earth being, as a human on the earth, or one of your last few lifetimes. And when I see that, especially when people come to me for a one-on-one Akashic reading, which if you're interested in that, all links for everything, coaching, Akashic record, everything will be in the description. What I see sometimes is I'll see someone just having a ton of lessons in a very short amount of time. And that usually tells me, okay, I feel like this might be kind of it for you. Like, you're needing to do and accomplish all these things because your soul knows, hey, like, I'm almost done here. So I need to kind of, wrap it up, and I need to fit a lot of lessons in a very short amount of time. And so if that's true, if you're listening to this and you're kind of getting a chill, like, ooh, I've been kind of feeling like maybe this is my last life or my last few lives. If you feel that way about yourself, then even more so, your goals are going to be your spiritual, your soul mission is going to be way less about money and having stuff and whatever. And it's going to be more about integrity. It's going to be more about trust, faith, energy work, spiritual work. You are going to thrive way more when you take away thinking about the 3D reality and trying to manipulate it, and just sitting into yourself and just sitting into a surrender and putting way more of the focus on your internal world and what lessons are left for you, honing your spiritual gifts, so the foremost common clairvoyant is sight, so that's like having visions in your meditation. Clairaudience, to hear, maybe you hear like a voice speaking, or you hear music. That's how I make all my music, is I start hearing a melody and then I create it. Clairsentience is to feel. That's a body sensitivity, feeling chills, that kind of thing, or just knowing in your body when something's right or wrong. And then claircognizance, which is a knowingness, a download. You know it, you don't know how you know it, you just know that you know it. So those are the top 4 clairs, as we call them, CLAIRS. And you can have all of those, you can have some of those. I feel that everyone has all of them, but certain ones are stronger depending on what you need in this life. All of that to say, that was a little bit of a tangent, but all of this to say that if you are going through the squeeze, if you are going through a time where you want something really bad, or you're going to the next level, but you're in this point of like, okay, nothing's happening now, and all my fears are being realized, and all my fears are being shoved in my face, and what is happening to me? The message I have for you today is keep going. Keep going. And this is a direct, I'm like live channeling right now. This is a direct message for you. I know it doesn't seem like it's gonna happen. It is gonna happen. I know it doesn't seem like that. That's why you need to start releasing yourself from needing to believe something when you see it in the 3D, and you need to start trusting that it will be done. Wow, okay, I'm really getting a million messages right now. Trust your faith. Trust that you are being led. Many of you are still trying to I'm seeing the 10 of Wands card, which is a depiction, at least in the Rider-Waite deck, of, I think it's a Rider-Waite deck, of a person with like, carrying the 10 wands and like arduously drudging themselves up a hill. And so the meaning of that card essentially is you're taking on a lot. And I give this advice in many a coaching session of you as the human are doing too much. You're doing the job of the human and of the soul side of you, the spirit side of you. And you shouldn't be doing that. This human needs to be able to do what they need to do, and then to just wait. So if you're spinning your wheels and you're trying everything and the thing you want is not happening and you're like, what the heck? And you're being squeezed, you need to surrender. You need to surrender because it's clearly not working. You have done all you need to do now. And now work on your spiritual practice. I talk about this all the time, but my grounding workshop will help you get out of your head and into your body. That is linked below, or linked in the description box if you're interested. You need a practice every day that you're getting out of your head and you're just in your body and you're building trust, you're building groundedness, and you have the ability to know when to act and when to wait. When you build that skill, you will be so golden. You will be so golden. And especially if you're in the squeeze, and the squeeze happens periodically. So it's not like, oh, I went through it 5 years ago, I'm done. It will happen over and over and over again until you learn trust and patience and acceptance of what you cannot control and assumption that it will be given because you feel it. So again, listen or watch the message from yesterday about when to know if your desire is actually part of the karmic plan or if it's, again, something that you're trying to grab onto to feel safe, some maladaptive coping mechanism. Once you have a sense of, no, I feel it in my loins, I feel it in my guts, I see myself there or with that person or with those children or in that career or with this business or whatever it is, I see myself. If you know that, then you need to let it go. Because if you know it's a truth for sure, then let it go. Again, going back to my kind of second point here, we think that manifestation is like to pull it forward, to effort, yank it toward us. That is not it. You have to let go. You have to let it go. Imagine that in a human scenario. Okay, and let me know if you resonate with this in real time. Like, imagine you're dating someone or whatever, and they're like, okay, I'm going to a concert tonight, so I'll see you tomorrow. And you're like, okay, cool. And then they just told you, I'll see you tomorrow. And you're literally every second, you're like texting them like, am I seeing you tomorrow? Are you sure I'm seeing you tomorrow? Are you sure? Are you sure? And like every 5 seconds, you're like, are you sure? Are you sure? That's not going to go well, probably. And maybe you actually have been that. And so, you know, firsthand, like, yeah, that doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to be the person asking. It doesn't feel good to be on the receiving end of that. That person's like, can I just please enjoy my concert? Like, can you just trust me that I'm being serious? Now, listen, some people can't be trusted. So there's nuance here. Don't get too deep into the analogy. Maybe that wasn't a good analogy, but essentially, when you know something, and then you're still like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? You're not pushing it away, but you're like making your life 10 million times harder. And again, I said this before, but I don't really believe in like pushing away quote unquote blessings. I think if it's supposed to happen, it's just going to, like, literally no matter what. But there are certain things that you can do to kind of, slowing it down isn't even the right word. Just making it way harder than it needs to be. Like, that's really it. Just making it way harder, making your life suck. Like, it doesn't need to be like that. So, and one more message coming in. If you cannot learn to trust and let go and assume everything's going to happen, if you can't do that, then we will, again, we meaning spirit guides, your higher self, source, we will squeeze you every single time you have a desire like this. Because you got to learn. You got to learn. Wow, they're not being very nice to us today. They're being really like, oh my God, but that came in so strong. Like, you got to learn. So this isn't something that you can just muscle through. You got to learn it. And if you can't learn it, then we'll just give you the lesson over and over and over and over and over again until you can learn it. We got all day. I'm literally hearing, we got eons. We literally aren't alive. We don't have a body. We can't die. So like, we're just going to give it to you like every minute. And we don't get tired. So we humans are up against a force that we cannot even comprehend. And I know that you know that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so in conclusion, the squeeze asks you to let go. The squeeze asks you to let the angst leave your body, to let go, and find the voice inside you that knows. And then have joy. Have joy of like, oh my God, I literally felt that and I know that that's happening. That's so cool. Wow. Okay, I'm going to go do this with my friends. Okay, I'm going to go read a book now. Okay, I'm going to go bask in the sun. You know, like I personally love that method of just like, okay, I know it to be true. And then just like frolicking and like, just go frolic and don't think about it again and just like totally let it go. And they're saying you will be given inspired action when it's time. We will call you when it's time for you to act. So don't worry about that. And no, we have not forgotten about the thing you want. I am hearing all of you right now. Oh my gosh. I literally just heard, no, we have not forgotten about that thing. You got to trust and let go, detach. And understand that detachment does not mean I'm letting it go forever and now it's never coming back. That's not how it works. We're trying to teach you how to manifest without control, because control doesn't work. It doesn't work. Let it go. Let it breathe. Let it breathe. It'll come to you. Okay. Thank you all so much for being here for another episode. It's Friday. Well, I'm assuming it's Friday. I'm filming this under the assumption that I'm going to be posting this on Friday. So I wish you a very happy and a very merry weekend. Once again, please engage with the video or the podcast, whichever way you're watching or listening to it. Would so appreciate that. I will beg you. Yeah, all the links to work with me and everything is going to be in the description box. And have a great weekend. I will see you on Monday. Bye-bye.